Hello everyone, as we can see, the situation on the front lines is getting more challenging with each passing day. The moment when the Ukrainian forces will launch a major breakthrough is drawing closer. Everything is pointing in that direction. The Russians are already panicking and attempting to dig in closer to the ground because the Ukrainian forces are preparing seriously. Today, tactical battles are taking place in the Zaporizhzhia direction. However, we can observe that most of the defensive lines have been breached, and the Ukrainian forces are repelling positions day by day through tactical engagements. Therefore, there is a likelihood that the Ukrainian forces may indeed deploy a significant amount of equipment for a breakthrough in this sector of the front to access operational spaces and advance rapidly. If we look at the geolocation map where we can see the movement of our troops in great detail, it's evident that the Ukrainian forces are moving to encircle Novoprokopivka and Shalom is ongoing. There have also been successes in the Verbove direction over the past week. The village is under the artillery control of Ukraine, making it difficult for the occupiers to hold their defense for long. However, the Russians are also resorting to various tactics, and at the moment of our troops' breakthrough, they begin setting minefields on fire, causing movement to come to a halt. Overall, they are doing everything on their end to halt the advancement of our forces. Even experts report that, according to their data, the Russians are redeploying some troops from the Crimea direction to the Tokmak area. If this is indeed the case, the Russian group in the Lugansk direction is gradually weakening. Where their defense is weak, there is room for a breakthrough, so we can expect significant changes on the front line. It's not for nothing that we have observed advances closer to Crimea by reconnaissance and sabotage units of the Ukrainian forces. Additionally, the Ukrainian forces have shown how the Russians are mining the territory not only with anti-tank mines, but also on infantry approaches.
Диви, раз, два, три, чотири, п'ять, шість, сім, вісім, дев'ять, 10, 11, 12 протипіхотки. Там не бачу. Та я бачу. 2, 3, 4, 5.
As we can see, the number of mines is at its maximum. It appears that the Russians have a considerable stockpile, perhaps dating back to Soviet times. Friends, before we continue, I'd like to ask you to share this video on social media and watch it to the end. It will greatly help promote my channel. Thank you. In the Vuhledar area, the Ukrainian forces are also engaging in tactical battles. There have been no major assaults, and as a result, there have been no changes along the front line. The Ukrainian forces are actively shelling the occupant positions in Staromlynivka, and according to occupant reports, they may indeed be waiting for their forces to be sufficiently weakened before making further advances with fewer losses. So we'll continue to wait and see how events develop. In the Kherson direction, the situation remains stable for now. It's been reported that there hasn't been any active use of aviation in recent days, and all strikes have come from artillery. The Ukrainian forces are not conducting any movements here, and the front line remains unchanged. In the Kupiansk direction, the situation remains highly stable. There is shelling, but no offensive actions are taking place. According to preliminary information, the large grouping that had been assembled in this direction has been partially redeployed to the southern directions, and part of it has been completely defeated. Therefore, the occupiers have switched to a defensive posture here, and there are currently no movements. Meanwhile, in the Svatove area, attacks are ongoing. It has been reported that the occupiers are constructing pontoon bridges across the river. in the Kovalivka area and are transferring tanks there for offensive actions. Unfortunately, the Ukrainian armed forces cannot destroy all of the pontoon bridges, so the occupiers are managing to advance, gradually taking some Ukrainian armed forces positions. However, according to preliminary information, they have made limited progress and there have been no major successes. Thus, the front line remains unchanged. Looking at the geolocation map, you can see that from the 25th to the present, they have managed to capture a small section of the front. However, Novoyegorivka remains under the control of the Ukrainian armed forces. Our units are using drones to deliver numerous strikes on the positions and equipment of the Russian forces. In the Krymina and Siversk direction, the situation remains highly stable. Ukrainian armed forces are not showing any significant activity in this area, and the occupiers are primarily conducting artillery shelling. In the Bakhmut direction, one of the most challenging situations persists. Despite the absence of major assaults, tactical battles continue. From Klishchiivka to Azaryanivka, a nearly 12-kilometer stretch of the front remains highly active. However, despite this, the Ukrainian armed forces are gradually pushing the Russians out of their positions, although there have been no major changes to the overall front line. Additionally, near Bakhmut, the occupiers have increased the frequency of shelling, attempting to target Ukrainian military equipment and positions as much as possible. Nevertheless, this doesn't impede the progress of Ukrainian forces. According to the Deputy Minister of Defense, a total of 47 square kilometers have been liberated in the vicinity of Bakhmut. Over the past week, the liberated area has increased by 3 square kilometers. In the Avdiivka direction, despite experts' opinion that the Russians lack the strength for offensives, attacks continue and have even intensified. After several days of relative calm, offensive actions have begun in the direction of Severne. Multiple Russian groups are attempting to capture the village, which is a key point for surrounding Avdiivka. They are pushing hard to break through here. If they capture Severne, they will have access to Lastachkina, effectively putting Avdiivka under siege. However, the Ukrainian forces are aware of this and are doing everything to defend the area. The distance to the coking plant is 3.5 kilometers and to the front line is 6 kilometers. Battles also continue further south in the area of Krasnogorivka. They are trying to establish a foothold in an area surrounded by natural water obstacles on all sides. Capturing this area would allow them to shell both Krasnogorivka and Mariinka. Therefore, battles are ongoing, and as we can see, success on the side of the Ukrainian forces. In Novomykhailivka, the occupiers continue to suffer daily losses, but the attacks haven't ceased. Also today, President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky had a phone conversation with French President Emmanuel Macron, during which they discussed the situation on the battlefield. The president shared this information on his Telegram channel, so they went into detail about the battlefield situation in each direction. Zelensky conveyed the current defense needs and expressed gratitude for strong defense support and ongoing assistance in expanding the capabilities of Ukrainian soldiers. The president noted that, in particular, they discussed specifics regarding security in the Black Sea and the grain corridor that should be extended. They agree that enhanced cooperation in protecting maritime routes, an important agreement on security guarantees. Our teams, Ukraine and France, will work on bilateral document regarding guarantees, emphasized Zelensky. He also mentioned that the presidents discussed their preparation for the Global Peace Summit and France's active leadership in implementing the peace formula. It's crucial for as many countries around the world to join, including Global South states. France and its companies will participate in our Defensive Industries Forum, which we are actively preparing. This has also been agreed upon, he added. Additionally, today, President Zelensky plans to replace the Minister of Defense Alexei Reznikov with Rustem Umerov and will soon propose his candidacy to the Verkhovna Rada. This was announced in an official statement by the President of Ukraine.
Бажаю здоров'я, шановні українці, українки. По завершенню тижня хочеться сказати кілька речей. Перше, Україна стала сильніше. У нас є нові домовленості з партнерами щодо оборонних пакетів. І, до речі, сьогодні в розмові з президентом Франції Макроном ми обговорили, яке нове постачання здатне допомогти нашим воїнам. Обговорили захист нашого Одеського регіону, те, що Франція може зробити для захисту Одеси та області. І є дуже важлива домовленість про тренування у Франції наших пілотів. Наша коаліція сучасних винищувачів стає міцніше. Є вагомі речі, які ми робимо в Україні для нашого захисту щотижня все більш інтенсивно. Це стосується і нашої зброї, від гармат і снарядів до дронів і ракет. Це стосується і нашої єдності. Зокрема, єдності у несприйнятті усього і усіх, що послаблює Україну. Друге, ми постійно доводимо, що можемо разом робити речі, які здаються фантастичними іншому світі, але працюють в реальності, коли за них беруться українці. Вже 4 судна пройшли нашим новим альтернативним морським коридором із наших південних морських портів. І ми працюємо із нашими партнерами по всьому світу, аби відновити нормальну роботу зернового коридору, який забезпечував і має забезпечувати продовольчу безпеку в глобальному масштабі. Я дякую усім, хто із цим допомагає. Третє. За наступні місяці Україна має досягти кількох цілком конкретних результатів. Зокрема, це наша стратегічна політична мета відкриття переговорів про членство з Євросоюзом. Україна має 7 визначених рекомендацій Єврокомісії. Частину з них ми вже реалізували. Заради іншої частини потрібна результативна робота Верховної Ради України. Вчасна робота, яку ми погодили з Єврокомісією. Закон про відновлення електронного декларування. Зміни до Закону про національні меншини та особливо звернув на нього увагу Закон про ПЕПів. Politically Exposed Persons. Політично значущі особи. Кожен із цих законів має фундаментальне значення. І голосування щодо них матиме фундаментальне значення. Люди побачать, хто чого вартий. І я закликаю народних депутатів України не відкладати ці рішення, не підвести Україну та підтримати нашу європейську інтеграцію. Ще одне дуже важлива річ. Цього тижня парламенту буде запропоновано ухвалити й кадрове рішення. Хочу окреслити це зараз. Я вирішив провести заміну міністра оборони України. Олексій Резніков пройшов ці більш ніж 550 днів повномасштабної війни. Я вважаю, що міністерство потребує нових підходів та інших форматів взаємодії як з військовими, так і з суспільством в цілому. Зараз очолити міністерство має Рустем Умеров. Верховна Рада України добре знає цю людину, і пан Умеров не потребує додаткових представлень. Очікую від парламенту підтримки цієї кандидатури. Осінь – час для посилення. Слава Україні!
And that's all from me. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.